exact time I scheduled. That's crazy.
Let's go. Nice.
Planned. We actually were
Oh, I
clearly sitting in
fucking need
here,
to tweet out the episode.
for
Fuck.
way in advance. Okay, well, I guess not.
Is there's no thumbnail?
Yeah, how lucky do the people
No, there
sitting here
is.
on
There
time
is.
feel?
Oh, well, do I have it?
No, I'll
Maybe
send
the
it.
club just right away. Off
Um,
rip.
Oh, I see Bleach in the thumbnail because you are probably referring to the fact that I'm reading Bleach.
Yep. I didn't know what Vindy was doing, so he's not in the thumbnail.
That
Unfucking
is what it is,
fortunate.
dog. Nothing exciting, I think. You know, it is what it is.
Vindy, you can be the black guy today. You're that guy.
Oh my god!
That means you can say the N-word.
Okay, well, I was gonna go there. I was gonna wait. You know,
Wait, hold on. Did you say I wasn't gonna go there today, implying that there might be a day in the future you go there?
You know, you'll have to stay tuned. Yeah, how are y'all doing? How's it going?
Been good. Yeah. As I was just telling Nun, I finished work, so recently. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm pretty okay. Just been editing a video for someone. I was having footage issues like a little while ago, just because the torrent was misleading. It said 1080p, but it was just talking about the movies in the torrent instead of like the whole show. So every like episode was 480p. So it was just like, okay. I converted every episode for no reason.
No. Oh, pain. Oh, that's rough. Um, I mean, at least because you should be able to if you like have already done some editing for. I imagine you probably or you can like replace the files with a different file, and it should.
Yeah, I know I can do that, but
Okay, gotcha. But
I just waited to convert like a different torrent. It's fine.
yeah, that's fair. Because I haven't thought about Naruto but I do have because I know for One Piece the anime time torrent is probably the best one because it literally has it has like 480p and then an upscale and that but it also has the cropped one for if you want that for some reason for the earlier episodes
Hmm.
and then it goes up to like fucking almost the end of Wano. It's really cool. So yeah,
Yeah,
just finding that one good torrent is nice.
bro. I don't know what the fuck happened with Naruto's torrents, but I swear to God, like when I used to have it, because I used to have like the Anime RG one, that shit used to at least be top, like the first one or like the second one. But now it's like you have to scroll for it a little bit, even though it's clearly the best torrent, or at least better than the ones that are at the top. But it's like buried and shit. And then like even with the Anime RG, I kind of never noticed how Naruto's anime. Like I did when I used to be like more critical of it, but it does just kind of look like absolute shit sometimes. Like I don't like even at 1080p, it just doesn't ever look crispy. Maybe the last 20 episodes look really good, but that's it. Um, yeah, I almost want a Naruto remake after looking at parts of Naruto.
No. Um, oh yeah, there is actually an anime project coming up soon, apparently. I remember, or I don't know how soon, because I just remember looking at the um I was just looking at upcoming anime recently, and I did see that there's like a 4 episode Naruto because like, they announced it back when they put Boruto on hiatus. Um, but apparently it's not going to be like a long thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I know about it. It's been delayed and we have no idea when it's coming
Mm,
out.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, SciADV guy asked, or no, do you have something to continue on first? I was just
No,
gonna
I
respond
was
to
just
that.
gonna say that like I kind of didn't realize just how long like Naruto and I guess One Piece at certain points were like animating below the resolution that was the standard for like the time. Like the fact that like more of Naruto's 480 than it should be, and like more of it's like it was never ever animated at 1080, just like 720 max. It's like crazy.
Oh yeah, no. So I watched Shaves's "You Should Buy Anime" video, which is mostly about like it's actually really like well balanced and handled, I think, because mostly makes the argument that like in some cases like the best looking release of a series is going, basically, part of it is definitely like he works at Discotheque, and just talking about how like Blu-rays can be like, especially like the ones that like, because I mean like the Berserk Blu-ray that they announced is like a fucking top. It was fucking selling more than Oppenheimer, basic like, and I don't know. It just seems pretty worthwhile. It can be to buy, but I think I don't think he talks about Naruto, but he does talk about the issues with Dragon Ball's Blu-rays because there's so many different releases, and so there's not a definitive one because they all have problems. And I feel like I've heard the same. Maybe it was you guys talking about the server, but just I've heard Naruto's the same way of just like not having a really good Blu-ray release or good solid release because so the result being which leads to like inconsistent results or and yeah, just the fact that they are older. I don't know. There's a weird thing with like you'd think that older popular stuff would have like someone would have put in the time and effort and passion to have a good like the ideal version. Like I remember having that feeling when I read Yu Yu Hakusho. And I was like, well, even the fan translation has problems. The official translation has a lot of problems. I feel like I saw someone, maybe Mr. Grimm, talking about how there's apparently an effort to, I guess, do a good manga translation that's just back to front all the way solid, because like that's what I kind of. No, Yu Yu Hakusho. Sorry,
Yu Yu Hakusho, sorry.
Which is it's a beloved story. People love Togashi, and yet there's no way to go through Yu Yu Hakusho that just is purely Togashi, like as close as possible to what Togashi's vision for it was. Like the anime is good, apparently. I've not seen it, but I remember I think talking to you, like it makes some changes to the source material, or even the dub does. I remember you talking about some lines that are, and I especially remember with Chapter Black Arc, there were just a few details that I felt like because they translate some things differently, there was a level at which like I feel like I could understand this better. But I either haven't gone through it enough times or haven't gone through it with an ideal translation. And in that particular, that arc is really dark. So, obviously some of the dark elements aren't going to be in the TV series or the Viz translation, but the fan translation also has its issues. So there's no perfect release of Yu Yu Hakusho, right? And and like, he just a lot of like old manga have like Reborn was a great example because it's like, it still has fucking the only fan translations are just ones from that came out when it was publishing. And so like, as we went through it on the Nen show, like the names change a lot, the terminology, sometimes it's just fucking incomprehensible. And I don't know, it's just like it's like, I think overall what's coming out. Oh no, that's another point he brought up was how like if you want to watch something on Crunchyroll, a lot of the times they're still just going to have the TV versions of it. Like for popular titles like JoJo, that might not be the case, but for other titles which still have Blu-ray editions or corrections, they're not going to go back and change them if it's some fucking seasonal show no one gives a shit about, right? So I don't know. It was just an interesting discussion. It's a pretty long video, but yeah, I just remember there was a bunch of like I assume a PS4 can play Blu-rays because a PS3 can play Blu-rays.
It can.
So I've just never gotten a Blu-ray, so I never thought to bust out my PS4 so I can watch a Blu-ray, but when it's so easy to download stuff. But if the product is good, then I can see myself maybe buying a Blu-ray one day in the future. But so yeah, it's really unfortunate because for finding good torrents for long stuff, like you don't want to, like it's annoying to download a bunch of different torrents. But if you want to get a good, like I'm really glad that the Anime RG torrent, or not the Anime RG torrent, the Anime Time torrent came out around the time I was getting interested in watching through all of One Piece, because it's like, oh great, here's just this one big torrent that basically has everything I could want. Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, Vindy, you also watched the Jacob Geller video on Pinocchio?
Yeah, I did. It was good.
Yeah. I was gonna say because it's like, it's so, what's it called? Because you told me you were reading Pinocchio, I think on the Weeb Club too, and then Jacob Geller put out a video
Yeah,
in
he made
which
it for me specifically. Actually,
That's what I thought. It's like, oh wow, he made
what's
this
great is
video for
he did
Vindy.
all this other Pinocchio shit to help me understand I don't need to bother with it for my Pinocchio idea. So I'm chilling.
I mean, yeah, if you want to bother with it, it's because I'm interested in checking out the AI, artificial intelligence, and the Del Toro movie. I can never pronounce his first name.
Yeah, I mean, I want to
on
watch
top of
those,
Liza P, but
it's not like I care about them for.
No, I mean, yeah, for anything you might want to talk about it. Yeah.
I don't feel the need to re-watch or to watch any of those before replaying Liza P, which I actually have done all the stuff I need to do to replay Liza P at this point. I just kind of probably am gonna wait a little bit because there's a lot of games coming out, so I'm a little busy. But
I saw you started the next Ace Attorney game. It looked like.
Did, brother. 4, 5, and 6 came out today.
Today, okay.
And so I bought them today. I've only done the first case of Apollo Justice, but it's silly, it's goofy. The music went crazy. Apollo's got some of the greatest fucking silly little faces I've ever seen in my life. I'm excited to see where things go. But, you know, it is what it is. That's not the more exciting thing to talk about right now because I just haven't played that much of it.
Yeah. Well, I will say. Oh, okay. Gotcha. But real quick before you go into that on Ace Attorney, because I was gonna say I've been doing my Danganronpa streams, and I'm finding out that I've played the game too recently to really have as much to say minute to minute as I thought I would. So I'm still gonna stream Chapter 2 because and the Danganronpa streams after that. But I was thinking about how it might be fun, because like my always thing with I've played Danganronpa so many times that it's like you know, I know basically almost everything there is to know about it. So I'm going to or I'm not going to, I'm going to try basically because there's 3 other Kodaka games I haven't played. One I always forget the name of, and then there's World Ends Club and Rain Code. So I might play those on stream for the first time, like blind, just to see how that goes. And if that goes well, I might play Ace Attorney on stream. So because yeah, there's the 2 trilogies released. And the great Ace, the old, you know, the one you were talking about recently, and then I might emulate the Miles Edgeworth ones. So yeah, if it goes well, it could be cool. So, but anyway, Elden Ring.
Yeah, I finally finished it. It is what it is. You know, it's a game. I'm not as negative to it as I was. I think, you know, I was pretty close to the end with where I was. Because I was on the dungeon, basically. I was at the start of the path to the dungeon to Melania, and then, you know, the path to the end of the game is just like a bunch of easy bosses in the main path. Like, I swear to God, brother. Every single boss, like, Melania gave me trouble, and I had to leave her for a little bit, because I just didn't have the levels. Like, I got to Melania, and everything I looked up online was like, yeah, you probably need 50 vigor, you know, and... You know, I was a magician. I didn't have the intelligence to use, like, the big fucking spell. And I was like, well, okay, I'll come back. You know, it's fine. I'll level up a little more. And so I kept going along the main path. And, like, the fire giant took me, like, 2 tries.
Yeah, he's not too bad.
There's the fire giant, and then you go to...
There's the Malekith, there's the Godskin duo.
Godskin duo was easy as fuck, brother. Holy... Okay. Baby ONS. Baby ONS. First of all, right before I went to go fight them, there was a cave where you fight them back to back. And it's in like a tiny ass arena. That's harder than the 2 of them at the same time. Because back to back, you're genuinely like fighting them like it's just a fucking endurance test. Like they last so much longer. But when you're fighting them like that, like at the end, like, brother, the pillars do so much of the work for you. Like I was just chilling using the pillars. That took me like 2 tries, and then final boss of Farum Azula didn't take too long, and then all the bosses in the capital were like easy. Fucking final boss took like a couple tries. Mog was easy. Like everything was fucking free as fuck except Melania. And when I went back to her, it was a little bit easier, but still like by far the hardest boss. That one attack she has is just crazy. Like Sekiro broke them.
I think the swallow dance. I think is the one where she floats
Feather
up in the
dance,
air.
whatever.
Yeah, feather. Yeah, I forget what it was.
No, Feather Dance is a Pokemon move. Yeah, Swallow Dance. I think you were right. I just think that like it fucking sucks. Like Sekiro broke them a little bit with a lot of enemies and their attacks, where enemies attack so much and for so long, and it just feels like you don't defensively. It's not as like just read it and dodge out of the way and be chilling, right? And in Sekiro, like you still can kind of read everything because even though it's a lot more attacks at once, you have a much stronger defensive option, right? And so I guess I prefer playing in a Souls game when I see a boss do an attack, as opposed to having to know, oh, it's this attack, I need to run back the first two and then dodge forward once and then I'm okay or something, and looking that up to find it, or just like testing against the boss by waiting for them to do the attack every once in a blue moon and being like, well, what if I do this? Well, what if I do this? I much prefer when I feel like their attacks are visually, you can just dodge it just from seeing it. And it's like they just went a little too hard into being crazy hard with some of that shit. It's like Millennia, like this is insane. And some other enemies where it's like, I don't know when is like the block in attacking and when like you're done attacking, and when you're taking a small delay in between your 6th and your 7th attack, and you're gonna attack 8 more times. So I try to swing and you kill me. No, like you're laughing, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like,
but that's why I'm laughing. Well, because it sounds like you still struggled way less with them than I did. So
I didn't struggle like at all this playthrough because I was a magic user. It killed me a couple times, but for the most part, I just like dealt with it.
Okay, yeah, because I was just thinking it's like, because I still have not beaten Millennia legitimately. I accidentally triggered a bug where if you defeat her first phase with a critical attack, she starts her second phase with like almost no health. So I literally just ran in there and killed her after the big flower, and so I was able to get to her for second phase several times, like because she took a while, but I still haven't beaten her legitimately.
Yeah, once I got the hang
yeah.
of the first phase, it was like one of those just like it was a long fight. I just had to play it cleanly enough. I got like a lucky, like she did like the flower, I hit her. She did a couple easy attacks, I hit her. She did like the swallow dance in phase 2, I dodged it. She did another flower like off rip, and that move has so much downtime. I was able to just kill her. I was like, oh my god, please, thank God, I'm out of here. Yeah, it was what it was. Like, I don't hate the boss, and I don't hate Elden Ring. I think it's really cool, and I think it's got some of the sickest moments in any FromSoft game, in any Souls game, and like exploration wise, there are some sick stuff in that game. Not even just like the scripted moments, which the game does a really good job of, like the way the world is structured forces you into certain moments. But I think that there's just like really cool moments with the way that the game world actually just like visually is. Like I love the moment where like early on in the mountaintop of the giants, you're like climbing over these spires and you see like way out in the distance, just like, you know, occasionally there's big spires and then just like nothing. This huge field, and then later on you get down to the consecrated snowfield and you're actually in that, and it took me a little bit to realize, but I came upon one of those like big ass spires. I was like, oh fuck, I'm like in that field, and I looked up and I could see where I crossed earlier. And it was cool. Like, it's a cool game, and there's a lot of cool stuff in Elden Ring that I like. That game's just really big, and I just don't that game's just it. I don't know. I just, yeah, I'm not sure exactly how I feel about like every part of that game, but it's cool. It's got, you know, it's a cool thing playing it. I don't think it's way less likely I would ever play that game than any other game.
Well, because it's so no, I understand even just because of the length. Like I've talked about it before.
I think if you knew what you were doing, right? Like if I made a run and I was like, I'm going to do, this is my run. You know what I mean? You could go out of your way to, I think, pick up like all of the stuff you needed for your run, and then just do the main bosses and get it done pretty quickly. But like, I don't know. I just don't think that's as easy or fun for me. Like theory crafting, like, okay, I need to go and figure out what item do I need and do that. Like, I'd much rather just like hop into the game, play for a little bit, around 3-4 hours in, decide maybe I'll do a strength build. Look up strength weapons, find one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Versus like I'm gonna have my run planned out from the minute I loaded, so I know I got to go here and here and here. It's like, brother, I'm not doing all this. I'm not looking at that many wikis to find my fucking video.
Yeah,
like
fair.
when I just contrast with like an Elden Ring replay would be where like it is just I'd have to go either run around the map for 60 hours, finding random things and be like, oh, maybe this could work, not really. Oh, maybe this could work, not really. Or go out of my way, find everything I need, look up like a list of what I need, go out, get that, and then play the game. But like that's just not as fun to me as like a Dark Souls 3 playthrough, where I could literally just turn my brain off and like, all of a sudden I'm at fucking at the end of the game. You just kind of walk through that game easily. Just you go straight. Or even Dark Souls 1, I think, once you know the gist of where to go in, is a lot easier to just kind of turn your brain off and play through. Versus Elden Ring is so big that I would have to play that game so many times and have such crazy knowledge in my brain of that game to not have to like wiki everything,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I get you.
That being said, there are things in that game that are really fucking cool. Do not get me wrong, right?
No, absolutely.
Moments, cool bosses. I love Ronnie, but yeah, I don't know.
So to answer a question, Chad, if I'm gonna watch the Kinnikuman revival series, I want to watch like the original anime before I watch that.
What are you, Craftsdwarf?
What do you mean by that? What, you watching One Piece?
No, about him. I like if I want to watch something, I'll watch like the whole thing, basically. Like how I'm watching the X-Men movies because Deadpool 3 is coming out this year, like that kind of thing.
I see. Yeah. So, I would need the whole original to be translated, which I mean I know they're still doing it, but they're doing it kind of slowly. I ideally I kind of want to start watching it this year, but I might change my mind depending on how their pace goes with translating the rest. And then even before I watch that revival, I would maybe want to read Nisei. Yeah, I would want to read Nisei first, and then and then maybe what I would do for the like continuation of Kinnikuman is like I'd read the arc, and then I would watch it, read an arc, watch it. Like I want to read the arc before I watch it.
Another way you could do that. That's more because I think because I've kind of done something like that with when it was Senpai Ga Uzai and Beastars and Karakuri Circus, where what would happen is I'd watch the episode and then I'd read the manga up to the point that episode ended. So that way I'm still getting to see how the manga do it, but I'm letting the anime kind of be my first experience. But the other way around is fine too. I guess the thing is just like it's harder to judge where the anime will go when it's coming out versus like where compared to going through, if you go through the manga first. I don't know. That's just my thought, but whatever works for you. So
I mean, either way, I want to have like a split, like a way to not read too much of Kinnikuman at once, like trying to read it arc by arc or like little section by section will hopefully make me not be burnt out on it. Like I understand that the continuation of Kinnikuman is probably better than the original, but like I still think I don't expect to like hecking love Kinnikuman, I'm a big Kinnikuman guy, but I can never come to truly love Kinnikuman, so I want to take it slow. Try not to be negative as I'm reading lots and lots of it. Because I don't think Kinnikuman's the type of series that I would prefer to binge read.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's also kind of why I think maybe watching the anime first might be... Because that way you're only reading a few chapters per episode, so...
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. I would prefer to just, like, read the arc and then stop. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I've tried, like, reading with shows, because when me, Dot, and Mega Graphics were watching, like, some edgy anime, and Elfen Lied was one of them, I think I did that with Elfen Lied, and then, like, obviously it goes past the anime, so I had the rest to read after it was done. But,
Right,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've
Okay.
tried it before.
Okay, gotcha. That's, yeah, just offering, but or just suggesting. But yeah. Um, oh, what have I been going through? Um, I mean, yeah, I guess Bleach is in the thumbnail. I am indeed reading Bleach still, but I also talk about that on other podcasts. But it's still really good. I still really like it, and I'm definitely getting even more things out of it, relatively speaking. But yeah. Um,
Craftsdwarf, who do you like more? At least so far in the manga, even though you already have your answer from the last time you read it. Rukia or Orihime?
or Hime.
I see.
And even just for like, because I there's a lot of good things. I like Riki too. I literally have a video half about her, right? But I don't know. Orihime is, especially in the earlier parts of the manga, is super good still. So yeah.
Cool, cool. Guess if we're going off the thumbnail, I have been reading Fist of the North Star. It's good. Like, reading it after Kinnikuman is cool because, like, the art's very easy to follow, and it is, like, I would probably say it's simpler than Kinnikuman in a decent amount of ways. So I can just kind of read it, not really question what's going on. And it has the simple, this guy is a piece of shit, punch him in the face. Let's go.
Let's fucking go. Yeah.
Like, I will say, unfortunately, a lot of the villains blend together because they're all, like, similar types of cruel to the point where it's, like, actively hard to remember their names. Because, like, there's just so many guys. Like, there's just a lot of guys and a lot of goons, and I just can't keep track of them. Like, I know Shin, Toki, whatchamacallit. There was one guy that I did kind of like. He does go from, like, villain to, whatchamacallit. Like, he like, you know, he becomes good. And he, like, starts taking care of the kids. Was he Ray? Is that who I'm thinking of?
Maybe because that's kind of, I think of Ray as more of like the rival character, if that makes sense.
Let me look it up. Yeah, it is Ray. Okay. But yeah, it's good. I think what's nice about Fist of the North Star is like actually reading it, in comparison to just like seeing stuff about it. You don't realize like how like kind Kenshiro is and how much of a like sweet person he is, because that's not really emphasized in like clips of you seeing him just punching guys. But like, I think he's like overall pretty, you know, positive and like balanced, I guess, look at like masculinity and stuff. So he's cool.
Okay. Nice.
I just posted crafts. It doesn't need to be shown on stream. I saw this on Twitter, but you might appreciate. The game looks like it's just fucking Star Fox.
Oh. Okay, yeah, no, that actually, no, that straight up looks like Super Nintendo Star Fox.
That's what I mean. Like they just made it more.
Oh my god, no,
Star
this
Fox
is.
for
I'm looking at
$7. You know, I thought that would be a something to spread along. You know,
actually
might be
really
worth
cool. Well, because no, this definitely feels like, what was that one game that it was like a 2D Sonic S game that they brought on the developers? Yeah, like just that kind of like we lost, you know, because like obviously Nintendo literally hasn't done a Star Fox game in 8 years. I think since Star Fox Zero, and they haven't done a game, Star Fox game people liked in almost 30 years. So it's like, yeah. So this is neat.
For $7, you get a little new Star Fox to play. It's, you know, I respect indie games like that a lot.
For sure. Oh, it's the early access then? Might still get it. I don't know. That's really cool. Thank you for the recommendation.
I literally, I just saw it on Twitter and I was like, well, here you
go. Yeah. Appreciate it. Because it's probably not too long either, especially since it's early access. But nice. What was I gonna say? What else have I've been doing? I guess I could talk about Moral Oral, which I don't think I talked about that last week, did I?
Not last week, but you did talk about it the week before. At least I don't know if you talked if you talked about like watching it, but I
I
do
think
remember you
I don't
talking about it somewhere.
yeah, I don't think I'd started it because I hadn't watched it yet. I feel like 2 weeks ago, maybe I had just started it and I didn't realize I'd been watching it for that long. Um, but like, because I'm almost done with it.
Yeah, I
let's
think you
see,
did mention wanting to watch it because me and Crafts, I mean, not me and Vindy thought it would be the type of show you would want to watch for some reason.
Oh, that's right. No, because I brought it up as like I think I'm about to watch this, and yeah, I think you said something about like because I guess I think you started laughing, and I was like, why? What's funny about it? Because it's just I guess it was just such a like a left field pick, and it's like yeah, Crass would just randomly start watching something like that. I guess was the you know, but because it like I think I mentioned it, it's been on my back. It's one of the two things like it and All Star Superman have just been like I'm gonna check this out, just for over 10 years now. And I guess I'm gonna make 2024 the year where I finally just fuck it, you know, because I always get wrapped up in like I need to watch this and play that and read that. My anime favorites to watch, my manga read. Like I always get like you know, and I always have an excuse to not do it. And now it's just like, fuck it, let's just watch it. Unfortunately, it's not an easy show to recommend. I like because it's like it's an Adult Swim show about religion, and it's a lot of time it's really edgy and you know even worse condescending towards religious people, which I think it's probably just part of it is it's like responding to a type of person I don't have that much experience with. Like none of the Christians I know have been just like and obviously it's like exaggerating it of course, but just like the way it sort of shows them as like backwards and barely even understanding their own religion, and they're just you know they're pieces of shit who preach Christianity as like you know the main character is he's I guess what ultimately couches it is like he's Oral himself is like a genuine Christian. Like he does have a pure love of God, though he's often misled by the people around him, and he does some fucked up shit because out of that ignorance I guess. But I don't know, he's the only one in the city who's actually fucking happy, so who's winning in the end? And it's like so it's just very hit or miss I think, because when it misses it's just being really kind of dumb and edgy and condescending. Like there's one episode where one student is questioning the ridiculous like logic you know they have about the world and the universe, and about gravity or you know how this you know solar system works, like very basic scientific stuff that is still like no one in the town agrees with it. So he's put in basically a special education class for being religiously stupid, and it just again like because apparently Christians can't have basic intelligence, I guess. And even the way that episode resolves is just kind of like, but then sometimes it does have like more, I guess, I don't know, stuff I'm a bit more like, oh, okay, that makes sense, or even just like some of the character stuff can be really interesting or good. Sometimes like season 3 it's not barely even a comedy anymore. It's more focused on just like unpacking the characters. Because at the end of season 2, it got Oral went to camping with his dad, and his dad fucking got drunk and shot him basically, among other things. Like it was an episode. It was a 2-parter actually, and it was just I was completely fucking you know engrossed by it because I was just I kind of knew it was coming because that was the discussion around some of that, and like just Clay and Oral, Clay being his dad, was part of what got me interested in the show. But actually seeing it, like it was still a well done pair of episodes. So season 3 has kind of been interesting so far because it literally has not followed up on that, because every episode so far has taken place either during or before the events of that episode, which stretched across that 2-parter, which stretched across a couple days, and like going into the characters and their backstories and like histories or like what they were doing during that episode or right before that episode. So it's like it's this majorly pivotal episode that almost to the end of season 3 has not been followed up on at all, and so it's just kind of pretty interesting. But yeah, and it's also in being edgy, it's also just got like a lot of like gross stuff or you know it's hard to recommend. I still think I enjoyed overall so far, but yeah, I don't know if I'll have much more to say about it next week because I'm probably gonna finish it today, honestly, because I have it's only they're half-length episodes, so I think total it's like let me hold on, 22.5 episodes long or so, or and then plus a special, which is an episode long. So yeah, it's a pretty short show. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Moral Oral so far.
Cool, cool.
Nice.
Big moral oral guy.
You can say that, sure.
I guess another show that I've been watching it's called Extraordinary Attorney Woo. It's a K
Oh
drama.
yeah, I saw you
Um,
talking, mentioning it.
Yeah, I really like it. At first, like maybe just the first episode, I had like a little bit of apprehension toward it, just because it's like it's about an autistic lawyer, and like I was wondering like, are some of these things that they're displaying about autistic people like accurate? Like I'm not fully sure, especially because it's a spectrum, so like they're all different. So it's like, I guess like in a sense, like an autistic person could be like this, but I wasn't fully sure. But by now, like I'm actually just like super sold on the show. It is like, first of all, just like so sympathetic and so like going out of its way to like try to be understanding and like displaying like the multiple different issues that people with autism like have, especially with like it delving into like love with a kind, like it's obviously like a disorder that like makes it harder to socialize and makes it harder to understand how other people are feeling and stuff. So it's like navigating that with like a relationship is like really difficult, and the way it's like doing that is super cool. Because I feel like with Young Woo, which is the name of the main character, she her relationship with the person she's with isn't like, I don't think their dynamic is like super interesting in the sense of like, oh, what are the reasons he likes her? What are the reasons she likes him? What do them being together say about each other? Like, I don't think that's where the interest comes from. Like, obviously there's some things there, but like the main thing is just like how society around them reacts to it and how different people around them treat it. Especially with like some people on, his name's Jun Ho. I guess that's how you say it. I don't know how people on his side treat it, because like people just assume like, there's no way he's actually in a relationship with her. Like in one case when they were walking together, his friend saw her with him, and they just assumed he was doing volunteer work, like as if he was like chaperoning her or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then like there's this guy who works with him, and he like keeps assuming that he has a crush on someone else, and he never like entertained the idea that he likes Young Woo. Like he just had to literally be told that, even though like he's been like watching and like being a weird guy, he just never even like thought about like, oh, he could like her. Like everyone just assumes he's like being like he has sympathy, or he's just like feels bad for her, when it's like, no, that's not the case. Especially when like people think he's one of those people who's like nice to everyone. Like it's kind of like a Kazehaya from Kimine Toroke kind of thing, where it's like,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, even though like he does have some things where he's like selfish, and like some of his like care for her